Coming to you from Investor Town Hall's headquarters in sunny San Diego, California, I'm Daniel Wong. On today's program, we have Pressure BioSciences CEO talking about the recent unveiling of the next generation of its flagship pressure cycling product and its relationship with leading global life sciences tech company. Stay right there. We're talking about what investors need to know and how PBIO is helping scientists with the tools to find cures for diseases. BioSciences, ticker symbol PBIO. We are welcoming Ric Schumacher here to talk about the advantages of its medical devices and the recent conferences he's been attending. So, Ric, you've been a busy man. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Well, great to have you on. So last time we talked about some very exciting developments going on from the last conference you had, I think the US HPO, if I'm correct. And last Wednesday, you just announced the unveiling of the Barocycler 2320 EXT at a major scientific meeting, which is a next-generation PCT-based instrument. And I hear it's going to be the centerpiece of the recently announced co-marketing agreement with SCIEX. So can you tell us a little bit about that, Ric?
Be happy to. SCIEX is one of the 6 leading companies in the world that sells an instrument called a mass spectrometer. They sell this into research labs, of which there are about 16,000 labs we understand around the world that use a mass spectrometer and have one or more in their lab, and they use this instrument, this mass spec, for analyzing proteins. And a lot of diseases are caused by problems with proteins, and a lot of cures and preventive strategies are based upon understanding proteins and the changes in proteins and disease. So SCIEX, with almost 3,000 employees, part of a $60 billion company, is, as I say, one of the 6 leading instrument manufacturers in the world of mass specs. Our instrument, our PCT, or pressure cycling technology instrument, sits in front of their instrument. We're the guys that our instrument breaks the cell up and releases the proteins in the cell that then are analyzed, what we call downstream, by the mass spectrometer, in this case, sold by SCIEX.
Well, SCIEX, obviously a huge company to be working with, and it's just one of the major marketing companies that you'll be working with, I'm sure. But great progress there. What's different about this new Barocycler you put out?
Well, as you say, it's we call it the 2320 EXT. EXT short for extreme. We've had our leading instrument, called the 2320, has been out for about 6 or 7 years, and we made some minor changes. We completely revamped it. We went to the key opinion leaders around the world who are studying proteins and said, particularly those that are already using our product, and said, what are the features, what are the benefits you'd like to see in a next generation instrument? And we tried to incorporate some of these amazing features that they talked about in the extreme. And so it's a play off of the instrument that's solidly been sold. We have about over 200 of them sold in the last 5 or 6 years around the world. But what we've done is we've taken it from a microprocessor run machine to a computer run machine. We brought in some additional advantages. We have a bigger pressure chamber. Remember, the cells that we break apart go into a pressure chamber, and the larger the pressure chamber, the more different samples that you can put in at one time, and therefore the larger the throughput you can get, the more results you can get. So we've added a bigger chamber. We've allowed now the researchers to go to higher pressures. The 2320 that's been around for 6 or 7 years could only go to 35,000 pounds per square inch. This instrument goes to 45,000, and we think we're going to be able to bring it up to 55,000 pounds per square inch or more. And pressure is what we're using to break the cells to release the proteins. Very gentle process. You dial in the amount of pressure you want, and it's like a sponge being squeezed. We squeeze the cell back and forth, and it finally breaks, and we release the proteins. So we have better control, we have higher pressure, we have higher throughput, and it's computer driven.
Well, Rick, always great. I love the technology. I love that you're constantly looking for ways to improve it, and obviously listening to the industry there. With all the things going on right now, what does this really mean for finding viruses, finding cures? I mean, we're even seeing that there's, new viruses. We've heard about Zika. That's been real popular. What's it going to take to really help these scientists to get them to find these cures for these diseases?
Well, Daniel, what a research scientist is doing during their day is they're looking for something that is different from the normal. So many diseases are related to changes in proteins, and so they're studying the proteins. In a given cell, you can have as many as 10,000 different proteins, and it may be one change on one protein that is the difference between life or death, the difference between getting a disease or fighting off a disease, the difference between finding a cure or not finding a cure. So therefore, the more proteins a research scientist can get out of a cell, the more needles in that haystack, basically, the more chances they have of finding the cure or finding the preventive strategy. So what we do at Pressure BioSciences is we have an instrument that has been shown not just by us, but by over 100 individual scientists from around the world. Some of them, what we call key opinion leaders, have shown that if you break the cell up using pulses of pressure, that's our technology, versus beating the cell up mechanically, which is the way that thousands of scientists do it every day, you can get additional proteins by doing a better job of breaking the sample in the beginning. So we're offering an ability, we're enabling the researcher to have the potential of finding additional needles in the haystack, additional proteins that come out of a cell that are not coming out of the cell now using the traditional methods up to now. And that additional protein or proteins that come out could be the cure, could be the discovery that they've been looking for years, and now they get it because we have a different way of breaking a cell, and we get additional proteins. Not my words, but the words of about 100 scientists in different labs around the world who published their findings.
Hey, that's fantastic, Rick. Obviously, a very important technology for us, for everything around the world. So important for us. And we're out of time for now, but we want to thank our guest, Pressure BioSciences CEO Ric Schumacher, for being on the program today. Rick, we're going to look forward to hearing some more progress and getting another interview from you here soon. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you again soon.
Really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, catch more video interviews on InvestorTownHall.com in the webcast section, and tune in next time. Stay tuned for the next interviews here on InvestorTownHall.com. Also, make sure to join a stock board to start the discussion and get your voice heard. Investor Town Hall connects investors and companies building trust and transparency in both public and private companies. This is your chance to get your voice heard on our platform and share information with investors just like you. From equity crowdfunding, Regulation A+ to emerging growth companies, we are on the front lines in capital formation and entrepreneurship. Find out how the average Joe can get skin in the game. We put leading industry professionals front and center, giving you access to years of knowledge and expertise. Join the conversation on InvestorTownHall.com and sign up for your free account today.